Samantha Zero here. It's that time again, a pickups video. Now the last time I did one of these, I was saying that it probably was going to be a while until I did another one, but literally like a month after I made that video, GameStop had this like crazy sale.
Liar!
And I want to show you some of the things I picked up, along with one little bonus surprise when I got to meet up with a fellow YouTuber. So let's get started. GameStop had this like crazy deal where like some of their games were, if it was like buy 4 and they were $20 or less, then you got them all for $20, basically cutting the price in half if you could like hug that $20 mark. And the same thing with the $10 games is if you could find 4 games that were $10 or less, you would get 4 of them for $10, making them all $5 each. So the sale was pretty intense, and this was actually, I believe, before the Pro Member sale, which I also went and bought a couple of things. I didn't go like crazy with like any special editions or anything like that, but they've been having some good sales, and I'm going to show you some stuff that I got. With one bonus where I actually met up with a fellow YouTuber before they set off on a cruise, and he recommended a Switch game that I picked up as well.
PlayStation.
So the first pickup is the White Knight Chronicles for the PS3. I've been wanting to beef up my PS3 collection before prices get too out of control. I enjoyed the PS3. It was actually one of the first consoles I bought brand new when I was in college, and so I did enjoy my time with it, and it was one of my first HDMI consoles, and so I'd love to experience the PS3 a little bit more in depth than what I currently have. Now this one is a part of the Pro Member deal, but I believe you can still find this even today for $5 still. Tales of Arise, and I heard this game actually did pretty well. So this game is only $5. It's been 75% off for like what feels like a couple months now. I make my stops in the GameStop every once in a while just to see what kind of sales they have. And this game consistently has been $5. So I would encourage you guys to pick up a copy, $5. I know nothing at all about this game. Sometimes I just look at games and it just looks interesting. And the retro aspect of this is what kind of piqued my interest. Flashback, I don't know if you guys have heard of this game at all, and let me know in the comments down below if you've heard of this or if you've played it, but it looked interesting enough, and it was part of one of the bundle sales. So I like adding games to my collection, sometimes just by looking at the back, kind of like in the old days where you kind of get what you get. I wasn't investing a lot of money into it, so if it ends up being a crap game, that's alright. Sometimes those crap games can end up being a little bit of a surprise anyway, but that was a pretty cool find. If you know me at all, I'm not really into the spooky stuff, and I'm not saying this game is or is not. Obviously, I don't know because I haven't played it, but We the Happy Few seemed like a really interesting concept where I believe you take a pill to continue to be happy, and in the game you can choose not to take the pill, and then you're like snapped into what your reality really is. Now, this sounds extremely interesting, and I hope it's not too scary so I can make it through. Every nerd wants to be able to fly a fighter jet in Star Wars or something like that, right? So I mean, the closest I can get is Star Wars Squadrons for the VR. This looked very interesting, and the thought of being able to be in control of a cockpit in the Star Wars universe for that price, I think it was also part of the bundle. I had to grab it. This next one was a little bit of a regret because I didn't realize that you basically can only play online. I haven't tried it yet. I'm not even sure if people are still playing this game. But Predator Hunting Grounds, it looked interesting. I for some reason I thought there was going to be a story mode, and it's something as us retro collectors need to remember is that some of these games are just online only, and you gotta pay attention to that before you start grabbing stuff. I'm hoping I can at least get my money's worth, and maybe some people are still playing online, or maybe I can do like a local game with some people. I'm not sure yet. I haven't tried. But another thing to keep an eye out for that I recently noticed is that the Xbox One games will sometimes say Xbox Series X only on it, and so make sure that if you don't have one, you don't start grabbing those games either, because I almost did that too. This next one looked really interesting, Scarlet Nexus. Don't know anything about it, but it was also part of that 75% off sale where I think I also picked it up for like $5, maybe $8, I don't remember, but it was pretty cheap. And these are brand new games, like not used, they're just brand new. They're for like 75% off. I'm not exactly sure what GameStop's doing, but I hope they keep doing it. So this next one reminds me of Jet Set Radio, just in the art style alone. This is Neo, The World Ends With You, I think is what it's called. I've never heard of this series, but it's like got this really cool like cartoony anime style, which that alone I think piques my interest. I'm not exactly sure what this game is about, but I'm excited to dive into it. I'll say I apologize in advance if I'm saying it wrong. Shin Megami Tensei 3. I've heard a lot about this series in its entirety. Whether 3 is a good one to start with, I have no idea, but it was one of my cheap pickups, and when I hear a title or a name of a particular game series more than once or over and over again, or something gets like a high regard, I like to check it out for myself. Sometimes I don't think things through when I just grab them, but the Surge 2 for Xbox One, I'm not a big Xbox player, but I do have one, and the games are getting pretty cheap, but this kind of looks spooky now that I'm looking at it a little bit closer. I've never played any of the Surge games, but it looks interesting enough. Hopefully, I don't get scared. I own this game digitally on my PS3. Honestly, it didn't run that well on the PS3, so I went ahead and picked up a physical copy of Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, I own the other two on PS3, so it does bother me a little bit that it's like a different system, because if I'm going to play a game series, then I'd like to keep on the same controller, but for $3.99, I couldn't pass it up. If you know me at all, you might know that Kingdom Hearts really isn't my thing, but once again, for $3.99, Kingdom Hearts 3 to complete what collection of it I have some of the remasters with the additional games on them, and I really need to give this series more of a shot, because I like Disney, so you think this would be a no-brainer, but I have never understood the obsession with Kingdom Hearts. But like I said, I like buying games that everyone has like an obsession with, or they vote that it's like a really good series, because there's obviously something I'm missing. My last two pickups, I ended up meeting up with Stephen Craig Retro Games before he, went off on a cruise, and when we were hanging out together, we ended up going to a game store, which was just super fun, just being able to walk around and nerd out. But he had recommended Cadence of Hyrule. I actually do like rhythm games a lot. I used to play them a lot, but I'm talking more like the DDR stuff. But, he recommended this game, and so I went ahead and picked it up just because not only did he recommend it, but I'm always going to remember our time together every time I look at this game. Last but not least, I went to a Goodwill on my way home after hanging out with Steven and his wife, and I actually found Drawn to Life. I've never played this game, but seeing a DS game at Goodwill alone got me really excited, so I went ahead and picked that up as well. Those GameStop deals really beefed up my PS4 collection, and I'm hoping that I can beef up my PS3 collection pretty soon, but what did you think of my pickups? Did you guys get any cool sales from GameStop? What was your favorite out of all the games that I picked? Thank you all so much for watching, and don't forget, there's a pixelated world waiting out there for you. This is a game I've owned in the past, but I owned... This is a game I've owned in the past, but only digitally on the PS3, and honestly, it kind of didn't run all that good, so I went ahead and picked up a physical copy of Dragon Quest. Fuck me.